Hello there friends, it's Cassie. Welcome back to my YouTube channel for another video. Today we're going to be playing with some new layering stencils from Spellbinders. We are going to be using the Blossoming Flowers that has 4 stencils in it. We're also going to be using the Coneflowers stencil, which has 5 layering stencils in it. And then we are going to use the sentiments from the Glimmer Hot Foil Kit of the Month for November. I'll have a video down below so I can show you what that is, and there is a link as well in that one. But we're going to be doing some stenciling onto dark cardstock. And in order to do that, you're going to need something like Distress Oxide inks or some sort of pigment ink. Regular Distress inks will not work. You can layer it on there, but it's not going to give you the desired effect that we're going for. So here, pulling out those stencils, they have numbers on each of the stencils, and they also have marks in each of those 4 corners that are going to help you line up your stencil correctly each time. Obviously, this stencil is a little bit bigger than an A2 sized card. An A2 size measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. So I brought in a blending brush, and we are using the color Worn Lipstick. Yes, hello Miles, you want to come say hi? We're using Worn Lipstick, and we are rubbing that on our stencil. And I'm going to clean my stencils at the end all together. We'll just take those right to the sink. Now we'll bring in our second stencil, and we are going to use the color Rustic Wilderness with my green blending brush. And again, super easy to line up because of those lines that are right on there. Now the reason that Distress Oxide inks will work is that it is the type of ink that is going to sit on top of your cardstock. Distress inks, just the regular ones, will soak into your cardstock, and Distress Oxides will lay on top of it. So that's why it works, and that's why it gives you the look you got going on here. Also, it's a little bit of a chalky look if you've played with Distress Oxides, which I'm sure most of you have. That's where you can see the the difference, the chalkiness. It's I don't know, it's really pretty. All right, now we're going to move on to Pine Needles. That's going to be our darker green that we're using. I'm going to wipe off my brush just a little bit, because I used it on the Rustic Wilderness, and I don't want to have too much contamination back and forth. All right, so then we pull that away, and we get that nice look. And then our final stencil is just like some little accents, and so we're going to bring that in and use Villainous Potion, which is a really beautiful purple. I love this color combination on that blue. It just looks really, really nice. Okay, so we've got a purple blending brush for that. And what you see on here is what you're going to get. It doesn't really dry back a whole lot, which is nice. And then here you go. I think that looks really pretty. So what we're going to do, though, is I can't leave it like that. I really have to do some splatters. So I'm going to bring in some Picket Fence Distress paint, and that is a white paint. I'm going to put it on top of a stamp block, and then I'm just going to spritz a tiny bit of water just to dilute it a little bit. Now, because these are Distress inks, Distress Oxide inks, that splatter on there is going to dry back a little bit, partly because I used water and also because these are Distress Oxides. It will soak up some of the color from underneath. So some of the lighter white is going to turn a little bit more pink and green and so on and so forth. All right, so now we're moving on to the next one. You can tell my cardstock is a little bit darker than previously. It's a nice green, dark cardstock. And once again, these are lined up the same way. There's 5 of them, but they're all marked with 1 through 5, and they all have those corners to make it super easy to line up. All right, so next, this color is Twisted Citron. Looks nice on that green. And then we'll bring in the next color, which is going to be some peeled paint. And that's another nice green that we got going on there. I'll clean off my brush just a little bit so that I can get that green. I love those lighter greens on those darker greens. It just looks really nice. And you could do this with probably any of your stencils that you have. I just think these layering ones just look really good. So keep that in mind when you're wanting to do stencils on backgrounds. You can do them really nicely on some dark cardstocks. All right, I'm bringing in some Shark Tooth from Ink on 3 and another blending brush. And this is a very juicy pad, so I'm going to have a little bit of that ink kind of a little bit heavy in some areas, which is okay. It's fine. The white dries back a tiny bit. but I do think that's really pretty. So then we'll bring in our fourth stencil, and we're going to use that with some mustard seed, which is a really pretty yellow. And then our final one for our final stencil, we're going to be using some walnut stain. That's just going to add those last little bits of detail. I don't know what it is about this stencil, though. It kind of reminds me of, like, I don't know, it's kind of folksy. Maybe that's not the right word. But I really like it. I think it's pretty. And I have seen some amazing things done with this stencil, just on regular light cardstocks as well, but I think it looks really pretty on the dark. Definitely make a very nice background for sure. Or, in my case, just straight up with the cards. I'm going to bring in some gold splatter because, you know, it's me. So why not? And then I've already got my card bases ready. And then, as I said, I am using November's Glimmer Kit of the Month. And I already had all those sentiments already hot foiled out. Like I said, I will have, in the description box, I'll have a link to that video in case you happen to miss it, so that you can head back and check it out. And there will be links in that video for it as well. I decided to go ahead and trim down my card bases just so that white would show through just a little bit. So I trimmed off about 1/8 of an inch on all 4 sides. And I'll do the same thing with the blue. I just think the white really makes it stand out a little bit more. And then we'll attach both of those panels down to our bases using some of that liquid glue. And then I'm going to use some adhesive foam strips on our sentiments. These foam strips just come in so super handy for so many things, but especially if you're wanting to pop up your skinny sentiments. And then I'll just peel off that release paper and we'll stick those down. And then that's going to finish off our cards for today. I really do love how Distress Oxides look on those darker cardstocks. It's a really pretty effect. I hope you give it a try. Yeah, so if you like this video, be sure to hit that like button. Definitely consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. And as always, I will see you very soon in another video. Bye, everybody.